Alright boys, it is time to go over the patch notes so that you guys are all ready to get some of that juicy information. Well, you probably have a bunch of information by now if you look at any of my fellow streamer friends, right? The newest roadmaps that we have got for Korea is not too much important for you guys because it's too far away. But if I go over it very quickly, we're getting Ilya Khan. And as people have been asking me, we have no idea when Ilya Khan comes out. But my estimate is going to be 24th. And the reason why it's 24th is because the arc pass that you guys, we usually got, the missions, there's like secret missions for 24th, and it's probably based off of like Ilya Khan, all that stuff. You know, basically it's a new Legion raid, and normal mode is going to be 1580, and then the hard mode is going to be 1600. It's a really, really big push, so most of the players are having problem with it. But the stuff that I kind of want to talk about is this kind of relates to what you guys are going to experience when Belshazzar comes out. What it happens is, if you have a regular, this is called like a soft reset. So what happens is, if you have a plus 20 weapon or like a plus 20 armor, it's usually 1% to 1.5%, which it goes up to 3% on the honing rate. You basically get the materials, which in this case is Ilya Khan's material. We don't know what it is. For Belshazzar, it's going to be the horns. And if you get the horns and create new relics, you transfer it over like you guys have transfer legendary gear to relics, right? If you do that, your 1490, which was plus 20, is going to be dropped to plus 12. If you go back down to plus 12, plus 13, obviously your honing rate is going to be like either 15% or 10%, right? So which is much easier for you to manage to upgrade it up. But the problem is you need the new materials. You're going to get the new tier of Destruction Crystals and Guardian Crystals. They look really weird. They look like squares over here. They look squares over here. The Leap Stones is, I guess, big Leap Stone. Right? But you would use these materials to hone the new plus 12, plus 13, whatever materials, right? My advice for finance and that kind of stuff is I would sell materials. So, for example, when this happens, if I can beat a Khan without any much of an issue with a static group, I would keep doing Chaos Dungeons and Guardian raids, the newer ones. For example, we're gonna get a new Guardian raid 1580, and you're gonna get new Chaos Dungeons that is 1580 and 1600. I'm going to keep selling those, and then I can just catch up later. So if you plus it up, it's better. But maybe you will take advantage of selling it first, and when more and more people are trying to beat a Khan, and then more and more people are, you know, pushing the eye levels, the materials will drop fast. Esther stuff, you guys don't need to worry about it. Basically, this is Esther plus materials to make the item level much higher. But Esther weapon itself, after today's particular goal or like a roadmap goal, Esther is going to be for super whales only. It's not gonna make any sense for regular users like me who doesn't swipe as much to go for Esther, because free Esther essence is going to be limited to 30 per character as written here. I don't know if they're gonna change it in the future, but it's definitely like a CEO weapon. You can't get it for free. You will have to buy Esther essences, and then they said that they want to make Esther weapons to be a very rare ones that only few selected people can get it. People in Korea have been fighting over this the whole time in Inven, like, which is equivalent to Reddit for Korea for Lostark. I haven't read too much of them because I think it's just a waste of time. I would do my dailies, but with that time I'm reading those posts. But in my opinion, I don't care, because like, you get this, it's not gonna have me not be able to clear the latest raids anyway. So for the people who has it, I mean, it's good because they just do more damage. They have some other essences that they can have, so it's just good, right? But that's what they're trying to plan to do, and people are upset. People are good about it, but you know, you guys don't need to worry about it too much. And I think I just went over everything. That's it. That's really much it. And then I really wanted to go over it quickly because it's not that important, because it's too far off in the future for you guys. It might be way different by the time you guys tend to be a little bit closer. Now the important ones though, the update that we got that could impact you guys is, well, the reports, I just did that today. The balance patch, balance is something that it impacts a little bit on the US audience as well, because it has hit live. This is live, as in this is not PTR stuff. I don't know if they're gonna be a hot fix, but let's just continue talking about it. Hallucination is different now. So hallucination, you will need to crit in order for your buff to be up on time. Now it's just attack. So hallucination is basically salvation that just gives crit. It became 120 seconds. So the relic set itself has became really good to keep the buff up. Before, you would need a certain amount of crit rate to keep the buff up, because if you don't crit, you don't get that extra 1 second. And also it gives you 2 minutes. After the cutscenes, you have a chance to keep that hallucination buff up, which is very nice. So people were trying something like, since you don't have to crit, some classes like Blue Gunlancer, they don't crit as much. They can use hallucination too. So they've been testing out builds. Gunslinger's been testing out time to hunt, because time to hunt with swiftness and spec, because they don't crit as much, but they just want to have a little bit of cooldown plus cover that crit from hallucination. Let's go over the classes and details. Right, Berserker, I've seen you guys talk to me about, talking in chat about like which one should we do. Is BT, is Berserker technique meta or is Mayhem meta? I think it's just a playstyle difference. If it was me, I would not switch, because that's just a waste of money for a side grade. It's not like a, their goal is always to try to make it similar. If it's a significantly different build, it would be like a meta change, but more people will talk about that. But instead, if people are just arguing about which is better or not, the change is minuscule to a point that why would you spend hundreds of thousands of gold and getting new accessories and payons and wasting all that stuff and cutting new rocks just for a side grade? Well, if you want to change your playstyle into a little bit more tanky and using Blood Rush, you can do that. But I think this is the most case for a lot of classes. That's just me, in my opinion. Gunlancer, they got the bash range increased to 70%. This is nice and exciting, but a lot of people don't use level 10 on bash. I do. I use level 10 on bash. The reason why they don't do that is because sometimes they just get level 7 for the synergy and the setup, the setup buff, and level up something like dash upper fire to level 2 for level 12 for more damage, or they have other options to level other skills, right? So technically this buff is not as too much as I would say. The community is kind of like mad about it, and I kind of understand why they're mad. Is because Gunlancer is in a little bit of weird position, because long time ago, for 4 months, they always just getting nerfed. Red Gunlancer just been adjusting a little bit of the damage, but technically the identity as like a class, it feels weird, because the biggest nerf that they got was an Elashia's energy, right? If Gunlancer is a class that is supposed to do damage, I guess that makes sense. If a Gunlancer is supposed to be a support, I guess that also makes sense. But they're just kind of removing both at the same time. So the only thing that they tried to adjust was the bash range, right? Which also is conditional, where you need to have bash has level 10. Personally, I don't care, right? But I think they could have adjusted a little more, because some of the clunky stuff, because Gunlancer is an old class. He has a clunky things too, like, you know, where like the backstep is not as bad, but like after a certain amount of combo, bash just doesn't land. Same case, like bash still doesn't land after dash upper fire, right? Even though you put it out to level 10. Maybe keeping out level 7 and then try to use backstep accordingly and just put it to level 12 on dash upper fire. That's an option too. I'm pretty sure they're gonna work a little bit more on it, because people are kind of like angry about it. It does, they do need a little bit of love, but if the developer said it's okay, I guess I guess probably have to wait, you know. Moving over to Destroyer. So Destroyer has this new skill called Earth Wave, and then Perfect Swing, Seismic Hand. All this stuff is changed. They have a new tripod where it increases gravity gauge. So as I said in the beginning, the game's developer is trying to have both of class engraving into like a specific build. Since we got the new skill for, like, you know, Earth Wave that generates more gauge right here, right? What's important for you guys to know is one used to be significantly worse than the other, but now we have 2 different play styles. So if you are actually having fun with a Destroyer and you like the bonk mode, right? You just have like a totally different new build now. You know, like you just do the skills and then your gauge will fill much faster. So this is even before I even added Wealth Runes. If you add Wealth Runes, it's even gonna be faster. It's just that we need to go more on details on this later, but I'm just trying to get the point across on there's like new different way to play the certain class, and this is pretty exciting. It's about that. It's about it. And then Destroyer seems really good here. It was a real win for PTR, and it just came exactly as it is. I think I haven't really checked the numbers in detail, but the playstyle just came over here, so I think it's pretty good. So whenever this change hits in for NA, people who ever like the bonk playstyle should really look into it and then try to research into some new builds. Which also you guys are gonna get the new Trixion, which is the roadmap, right? So that's also exciting too. Both things are super exciting because globally, everyone will be able to research builds, and I think this is like a huge push, like a huge improvement for Lostark in general. People in NA are very creative as well in making the build, so it's kind of exciting to see these kind of things happening overall. Moving over to Scrapper. Scrapper just got the 3.7% damage nerf. It is still strong. You don't have to worry about the measly 3.7%. Maybe they need more, they need less. I'm not here to argue about what needs to be more nerfed or what needs to be more buffed. It's easier just to share that, like, you know, this has happened, right? Same case for Soul Fist as well, 2.8%. Like, who cares, right? Best part about these fighter class, Infighter, Soul Fist, is Infighter, Scrapper, is one of the easiest classes to play. She's very tanky, and then you can just stay at the back if you're playing Taijutsu. If you play Shaka, it's a little slower. Based on your performance, you just do well, and you just do 3.7% less damage, but her playstyle doesn't change at all. It's just an easy class to do a lot of damage, and you have a lot of fun if you just do a lot of damage, or by clearing raids and stuff, right? That's the whole point of it, and that point hasn't changed, so I think it's totally fine. Same for Soul Fist as well. Lancemaster is also the same case. Lancemaster, Pinnacle has been weak, and I'm pretty sure people who have played Pinnacle Lancemaster is in a weaker thing, and her identity, it feels weird because in my time 5-2 was the meta. People are trying to 3-4s and stuff, but if you're using 5 blue skills, you would just go control anyways, right? But now, since they have increased overall damage on the red skills, people need to research a little more, but they will be doing at least minimum 4-3 skills, as in 3 being the red skill. They can even do 3-4, as in 4 being the red skill. Pinnacle Lancemaster is more fun than Control, because you get to swap stances, and they have parries too. Lancemaster is one of those classes that is well used in Inferno mode as well, because it takes a lot of skills. But with that, with this buff, I think it's really nice. So if there are Lancemaster mains out there, probably researching into a new build is a good idea. And I'm pretty sure the new build is going to be resulting in having more red skills than blue. Artillerist needs a fix because he does 28 million damage DPS in the Trixion. I'm pretty sure he's going to get hotfixed. The problem is the spec Artillerist is doing way too much damage. But people are having an argument where, well, what if, all those things are going to be very hard to hit? But everyone is saying Artillerist is OP. Personally, investing into engravings and investing into builds and leveling up Artillerist because of that point is a bad idea, because this is exactly let's say in crypto, right? Let's say this one crypto is going up to the moon, and then you buy, and what if it gets hotfixed and it just goes down? You just gotta be stuck with a class that you don't even like. So Artillerist main are very happy. Right now, this class does way too much damage. They're really happy about it. People are really arguing about it. Yeah, so in a joke way, from here to here, they're all fighting. Everyone's all pissed off. That's why I don't usually go here, because all they do is fight. This is the video. This is the exact video I saw. So if you check this out here, this is Grudge, Keen Blunt, Barrage, Curse Dull, Adrenaline, and these are making sure that you have Yearning set, right? But this is a class engraving that just has Barrage. This is not double class. So you just use the Awakening, all that stuff. So it goes from 16 to 20. And then later on, when you just use that laser, it just goes from 22 to 24. And then later on, it just goes to 28. Yeah, so he peaked at 29 million. And this is what? This is 1603 plus 25 at 94. Spec crit salvation set. But one thing I want to tell you guys, what can we learn from here is, after you see this, don't invest into it, because that's pretty dumb. Because if something is out of the ordinary, developers not dumb. They're gonna fix it later. So if you're gonna play a class that you don't even like, and then you see these big numbers and you just copy it, and later on they just get nerfed to the ground, you're just gonna be upset. Just put that into like a reference. Like if you are an Artillerist user, just be happy about it because it's not going to get changed as much, but like that's what's happening right now. This is what has happened, and it's good to just learn like what has happened. You don't need to like just like, well, Artillerists get nerfed, like etc., like all this stuff, whatever. If it doesn't get nerfed, I don't even know what's gonna happen. But the thing is, this is live right now, and if you're gonna make decisions based on this, I'm not gonna stop you from it. But don't get angry if it gets changed later, because who knows, right? To be honest, it feels like they're gonna get changed because this is too much. Let's move over. Sharpshooter. Sharpshooter needs a little bit of love by adjusting the old skills. I thought they were going to add a little bit of more instead of just 4.8% damage increase. I'm kind of upset about that, but I'm pretty sure in the next sets of balance patches, I think Sharpshooter is going to get some love for sure. Some of the classes do need a little bit of adjustment, just like the Artillerist or just like the Destroyer. But Artillerist is like a bad example of like too much strength. I think Destroyer is like just enough. Like it just makes a fun build for you to try, and it's viable. And as for Scouter, it just increased to 4% damage. I play Scouter as one of my 6 main characters. The spacebar does seem nicer. Like you get up faster. But the 4%, I don't see the difference. The point of Scouter is a transformation class. It's a very easy class to play. You're very tanky. You get to spam skills and still do damage. You can try to have a better uptime. You still do enough damage. I got MVP before. That's because I was playing like out of my mind with like 100% uptime when everyone's just running around like headless chickens. That itself to a point justifies me keep playing Scouter because it's fun. That's the same case whenever you guys get Scouter. I want people to try it out first and then invest into it. Unfortunately, is in the weaker end in the whole meta. But if you just play well, you can cover that difference. I know you guys have a bunch of questions about Gunslinger. I didn't answer it, and the reason why I didn't answer it because I'm going to talk about it right now. So the shotgun skill has increased in 5%. I don't think this means shit. The same thing here. I don't think this means shit either. People say Gunslinger is like weak and everyone's like angry about it. I'm not saying Gunslinger is weak. I'm not saying Gunslinger is strong. I think Gunslinger is fun. That's why I play her. She is definitely in the weaker section on the DPS compared to the other ones that are in the radar right now. Same case for like more crit for time to hunt. You have all those kind of stuff. Peacemaker, they adjusted a little bit, whereas they put the crit on 10%, so we crit a little bit less, and then you have the damage 5, 10 to 15%. So if I say Gunslinger is weak, or if I say Gunslinger is strong in this video, the angry idiots are going to flame me in Korea because they're just fighting right now. They're just like cutting each other's throats for no reason because they're just upset. They don't even know what they're upset about, which is the thing I don't understand. But Gunslinger, in terms of DPS, it is definitely in a lower section compared to the hotter classes. If I say I don't think it's weak, right? That's a problem too. So I don't even know what to say to it. Like, I have no problems. They're working on it, but it's just that like it's weird because Gunslinger is one of the classes that you can do the easiest amount of damage even though they have a long animation time. If you just play well, target down is your mouse, right? So you can hit it almost 100% of the time as long as you aim it properly. Majority of the skills are range. Shotgun's range is actually okay. Let's say right now the problem is like a full item level Gunslinger with like all level 10s. It does 2 times less damage than current Artillerist and Summoner right now. That's the sad part. So basically, if there's a 1 Summoner, you gotta have 2 Gunslingers to back it up. So you can say like this is shit damage, right? I mean, like math is math, but it's on Trixion too. It's like I don't even know. I don't even know math on Trixion doesn't even make sense to me, right? I don't want to talk too much about it. The advice that I can give to you guys, to people who loves Gunslingers, which same case for me. People have been asking, are we supposed to go level 3 Peacemaker? Are we supposed to go level 1 Peacemaker? My advice is if you already have a level 1 Peacemaker build, which is 4 3s, 2 and a 1, with 2 being Adrenaline, upgrading it to level 3 Adrenaline, which is what I have on my Gunslinger. You don't need to switch it because like I don't think it's a big difference. So if you're gonna spend like 100k 200k, adjust your engravings for a side grade, I'd rather use that to buy gems, or I'd rather use that to like raise another character. I'd rather use that to just hone or something like that, right? But if you're a new Gunslinger that is just coming into the game, having 5-3 is fine too. The good thing is there's just more options. And as for time to hunt, has been buffed a little bit. So what they're trying right now, with what I can share with you, is since it does 45% crit now, you got that extra 5%, right? So what they're trying to do is they add hallucination on top of this. So it'll be 45. So it'll be 45 plus 28 at level 3 hallucination, right? So it's already at 73. So you don't need any crit. So what they do is they put everything on spec and the necklace on swiftness. So we have the spec, swiftness, hallucination, time to hunt, gunslinger. That seems to be a pretty popular build right now because it does about the same damage and have a little bit of cooldown, because the problem of crit, spec, time to hunt, gunslinger was you needed level 10 cooldown gems to make it viable, because the skill cooldown was too long to a point to make the rotations proper, right? Now you have a lower level gem. Higher the better, because the rotation is going to be faster, right? You have a lower level gem, and since you have 500 swiftness, you have that speed, you have that cooldown at the same time. So it kind of balances out everything that the gunslinger was missing. So maybe they're pushing time to hunt more, but I'm not going to time to hunt because I like shotguns too much. That would be the summary of this. So again, should I go level 3 or level 1? I think they're exactly the same, but the highest ceiling that you can ever get is 5 3s and a 2. You can't even get that in NA anyway. With the ancient accessories, you have a level 2 adrenaline with 5-3 with level 3 peacemaker included. But if you're going level 1 peacemaker, level 2 under adrenaline. If you're going level 3 peacemaker, you just have a solid level 5-3. Just like Deadeye having a class level 3 for the extra crit. So the damage difference, I don't think it's too much. Summoner is the next one that's getting flamed with Artillerist. Summoner is way too strong right now too. The full spec high summoner, there's like a weird rumor thing happening in Inven where gate 4 summoner, they did like 49% damage, 49% cruel fighter. You don't get that unless you bust, right? I'm pretty sure they're gonna get fixed as well, like a hot fix. I don't even know like how long they're gonna keep that up, but the high elemental summoner crit spec is doing way too much damage. Basically all of this is fighting about how summoner's super strong, and like all they do is fight. So I don't even know what to do. But if you say, yeah, so basically this always happens. The people fight like, oh, summoner is so strong, and everyone goes like, summoner's not strong. They're just basically fighting. And then, you know, there are a bunch of videos out there. I'm pretty sure you can search it around and you can see videos. What you do is you just use the high summon elementals over and over and over and just doing DPS accordingly, right? And everyone's just getting super mad. Let's say you spend millions of gold on, let's say like a gunslinger or something, just to do half damage as the summoner that has spent half of stuff. At the same time, summoner has been a very unpopular class for such a long time, right? There was like negative summoners and all these things. Maybe they pushed it up a little bit to get the summoner's attention, and then maybe they're gonna nerf it later, right? Maybe that's the strategy. The advice I want to give is don't get fooled by these kind of dramas, because in the end, it is so much better playing a class you just like to play. This is how this game has always been. It's going back and forth. And then you're just going to get stressed out if you just keep trying to chase the meta. So yeah, I mean, my opinion is based on like the people have been talking about, Artillerist and Summoner might get a hotfix. I don't know. Who knows, right? Who knows? If they don't fix it, maybe a bunch of people will play Summoner for a while. Maybe a bunch of people will play Artillerist for a while. And if those guys are having fun by just doing overpowered class for a second, yeah, maybe if that makes you happy, that's good. But later on, it's not going to be like that forever, right? So that's just what I wanted to say. Arcana, I actually don't know much about Arcana. Let's move on to Arcana. So Arcana, they added like a bunch of new skills that I've shown you in PTR. Yeah, the backflush and all that stuff. And then you have tripods where you can adjust skills into like blue skills or yellow skills. So you see all these yellow skill changes. These are like damage related, and they added new tripods to make it into blue skills. All these things, right? And then you change the blue skills into like yellow skills. The reason why I did that is because they added new cards to make Emperor build viable. What the Emperor build does is you draw cards, and then you use cards, including the Emperor card, to do damage. Oh, and then try to get the buffs and use the normal skills to do damage. However, the Empress one is you stack up blue, and then you pop it on red. I did an interview video with a very good Arcana player. The playstyle does not change for Empress, but they added more options. They have something like a 4-card. What 4-card does is it has a chance to reset. Maybe people are trying to use this particular build to try things out. Arcana is such a hard class to a point that you have to build your own, like you have to build your own style. If you like resets a lot, if you want Gamba a lot, you can build like a super Gamba build. If you want to be safe, you can have a safe build too. But this is completely up to you. So most of the Arcana players, as the interviewer also said, was they all have different builds, they all have different preferences, and they all play based on how they want to play. That's the actual uniqueness of Arcana, and I think that's the very biggest advantageous position of Arcana. And I'm pretty sure some of you guys who really like to play Arcana feels the same way, because that's how the class works. It's not like stationary one build, like a Gunlancer or something, red or blue, something like that. With that, it's really nice to have, just like the Destroyer, you have another option of builds, you have another option of skills, you have another option of tripods for you to research and find a new one. And if you happen to like that playstyle, you can stick with that playstyle and still try to get MVPers and be viable as well, with a little bit buff too. So I think Arcana just got buffed, and then like I said on the PTR version, Arcana main should be very excited for this change, because there's so many new things for you to try out and try to find what you would like to use to make it viable. So I think those are the stuff that is pretty exciting. Aeromaster didn't really change from the PTR, but they just added new things. So Aeromaster, like they just do some adjustments, like, you know, they just, like, you know, lower the cooldown, like put the cooldowns up for like the rain, drizzle, all that things. In this particular identity, it was supposed to be 15% increase in defense and magic defense. Now it changed into enemy does 10% less damage. So like the reason why we don't really need to talk about Aeromaster as much, because the class is way too new, and there's too less. I don't even know how to build it. Aeromaster is the only class I haven't built it yet, and we're gonna probably do that for like 0 to Giga Chat series for Aeromaster, but I probably need to wait just a little more to just understand what kind of builds are out there. Now we also have the Shadowhunters change, the transformation. I've seen it. She's no longer a cockroach, and I'll show it to you right now because I haven't done dailies on my Shadowhunter yet. Also, real quick, we also added a QOL stuff for icons. And when you throw a Dark Bomb, you used to see a very similar icon, but now you can see Dark Bomb icon under the boss's HP bar, so that I don't get confused. It was very confusing because it looks exactly the same as a crit debuff. This kind of stuff for raid leaders is pretty good too. Pretty sure you guys will get this update very soon. At the PTR version, I was making fun of her running, so they changed it. They changed it to this way. She runs a little bit differently now. It looks a little bit more natural. I don't mind the change, but other than this is not very much to show. Her running animation is a lot different now, which is okay. So if I switch, and then you just have bigger booba. That's about it. And you can actually do dances too. You used to can't press G, or you can't do dances or anything like that. Now you can. That's about it. It's 2 big buffs, as chat says. Okay, sure. If that covers most of it, because, you know, they removed the skills. This is basically a notice saying, like, you know, the skills that remove, it's converted. And another one is like the Esther essence is all dropped from the auction house because they're changing the Esther's rules. Then you have the quest, all these bug related stuff. But that's how they've been progressing for a particular thing. I think everyone's really upset about this balance patch in Korea. I actually cannot disagree with that, because if I do, I'm gonna get flamed for it. But I think their balance patch for this week, I think it's pretty bad too. As in, they could have done much better, because I can tell a lot of people are upset. A lot of people are upset. You know, you do feel left out if your class is not helped, and then you have these classes like are so much stronger than you when they're just standing still. Other than that, that's about it. There could be a hotfix, but whenever that hotfix comes out, we can always have that topic. But if everything covered, I think they're just trying their best to do the balance patches more often. We have better tripod systems. We have everything under control, I guess. Make these changes more often. And I don't think it's a bad thing. People get super mad about it because there's like all these new raids gonna come out and everyone's like pissed off. Everyone's FOMOing. When new raid comes out, certain classes not gonna get invited. People are saying that kind of stuff. It has not happened yet unto this point, but some of the artillerists are pretty strong right now. It's a fact. It's a known fact. But that really just doesn't mean that you should not play a class that you like to play. That's my honest opinion here. So, with that being said, this concludes the update review, guys. How hard is it to reach 1600? I mean, I don't think it's a useful information to YouTubers, but basically you need at least like 2 million to 3 million fragments. So that's tough. So I think this covered everything. That being said, this concludes the video. Thanks, guys. Bye.